It's Tuesday, January 11th. Coming up live on The View. They're the hottest topics in the headlines, from the chilling mugshot of the Arizona gunman to a former classmate's revelation about him, and who the father of the youngest victim is blaming for his daughter's murder. Plus, former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty is telling the Red, White, and View what he thinks the tragedy in Arizona says about the state of the union, if he's got his eye on the White House in 2012, and how he handled John McCain choosing Sarah Palin over him last election. Then, Golden Globe-nominated star of Barney's Vision, Paul Giamatti's clearing up the biggest misconception about him that drives him nuts, and revealing why co-star Dustin Hoffman had the set in stitches. And Elizabeth Mitchell, star of two of Whoopi's favorite shows, Lost and V, is telling you what she thought of the Lost finale. All that, hot topics, and more, coming up live on The View.
Welcome to The View. Joy is still in Las Vegas, getting ready to do the...
Question.
Yes.
Is she on the same show with us? What are you? You just got off the beach?
I did.
We're freezing.
We're supposed to have a
blizzard have a storm.
tomorrow. Right. So
She's in Miami.
I wanted to wear strapless today because I'm going to be in a puffy coat and boots tomorrow in the snow.
Right.
So
Well, you look adorable.
That's why I have my bikini under all of this.
I have a lunch date with my husband after this.
Oh, nice. Keep the dress on. I think
Don't
it's
get
fine.
pregnant.
I do fear getting pregnant again. I do.
Wow.
She always walks around with the big T-shirts on, so when she looks like this and
Exactly.
shows some skin.
Sure.
You know what I've always said to you?
What?
Keep your legs crossed.
Keep my legs crossed.
Let's go.
It didn't work for the first 7 years,
It's too late,
Barbara.
Barbara.
They've been uncrossed.
You only need a dime. You put it right between your knees. That's what I was always saying.
It's dime.
You put a dime and you hold the dime between your knees,
Yeah,
and you keep moving, and then nothing happens. I only dropped the dime once. That's why I only got one kick. Now listen.
That's funny.
Joy is not with us today because she's still in Las Vegas doing the Miss America pageant, which I cannot wait to hear her stories when she comes back. I just think that's amazing.
She's not in it.
She should be
She's
tweeting
judging
about that.
She's one of the
She's
judges.
judging
Yes.
it. And
I think she's going to Skype with us tomorrow. About what she's been going through.
It's very exciting, very exciting. Now, you know, still, the top story, of course, in the news across the country is the mugshot of the Arizona gunman, Jared Lee Loughner. And people are struggling to figure out what led this guy to commit such a horrifying act. Is it political rhetoric? Because that's been said. Fox chief Roger Ailes spoke to Barbara earlier, and he has a kind of an interesting take, yeah?
By the way, didn't you think that picture looks like the picture out of Silence of the Lambs? You know, do you remember, you know, with the, Anthony Hopkins had the big eyes and that strange smile that, you know, it wasn't exactly a smile. I looked at it and I thought, it could have walked out of that movie. Well, okay. I talked to Roger Ailes, who is the Fox News president and chairman of the Fox Television Stations Group, a very influential man, to say the least, because the media has been blamed for inciting the kind of atmosphere in this country that would make someone go out and kill. And Roger, who's an old friend, talked to his people at Fox and said, in essence, keep the rhetoric down and do not make this a political event. He said he didn't mean this, I'm quoting him now, just for the people at Fox News, but for all of the media. He said, this is not a political event. This is a mass murder. He said, we don't know if the killer had a television set in his house, watched cable news. We don't know anything about him. So to make this a political story is incorrect. He said that the social services system has to be blamed, the educational system, perhaps even the police for not having some kind of a system that keeps an eye on something where again and again people said he's dangerous, he's threatened to do things, he was kicked out of school.
Why, Barbara, hasn't the head of other cable news outlets made a statement like this
Well,
to
I
their
don't know. I'm just
to their
talking about
team.
Roger.
I mean, Roger made the statement, and it should have been done across the board.
Well, Roger has a good deal of power and a good deal of say, but what he is saying, look, and what a lot of people are saying is there is a lesson here in general,
yes,
but that it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with one crazy guy when we don't know his motivation. We don't know whether it was even political. And by the way, Roger also said, because Sarah Palin has been to some degree blamed, and he said that Sarah Palin has already made her statement, and he doesn't think that she really has to say more.
You know, it's really interesting, all of this talk. You know, now that it's being said now, unfortunately, sometimes something like this makes people sit up and go, yeah, we need to stop.
Yes, it did,
we wish it would have been done earlier.
But the point is that one thing may not necessarily, yes, we should, but not necessarily because of this crazed person. This is not the fault of the political system in this country.
And it was irresponsible, in fact, to suggest it right from the bat, and that's what people did. They jumped to the conclusion without evidence and created a mad rush to put blame on those that are not
you know,
to blame.
perhaps you know what? If it's possible that it is to blame, then we need to keep an eye on it. If it's possible that that little girl got caught in the middle of our adult BS, if there's a possibility, then we all of us, left, right, center, middle, down, under, woolly, bully, need to take responsibility. It's not one side or the other. It's all of us.
But I wish they had said it so sensibly. Well,
Yeah,
you say it in a very caring, loving way.
That's what I'm saying.
We should be doing that in general.
You said it in the way it should have been
said. But what concerns me is that, you know, you got these people, and he could just be crazy. He's getting a lot of attention. You know, other people, you know, we put his picture on the screen. We talk about it. You know, these other crazy folks out there who see that this guy is getting attention. That's what concerns me.
Well, we always say that. I mean, that we always say that anybody who does this wants attention, and you can't not get attention when you do something like this. But that's not, it is the motivation for some, but it's not the motivation for every crazy killer that they want their 15 minutes of fame. Yes, he's going to get it. You can't not. But, you know, there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, it's just, well, another interesting piece of this puzzle is the father of the youngest victim of the rampage, 9-year-old Christina Taylor Greene, told CNN's Anderson Cooper last night who he thinks is to blame for the tragedy. Take a look.
I don't think it's about politics. You know, I think it's a random act of violence. I think it's, you know, it's a way that, you know, I think some of it's media-driven, to be honest with you, because people have begun to learn that they can solve some of their problems and make a big splash.
So when he says it's not, he doesn't think it's politics, but it's media-driven.
It's, you know, it's, again, it's, I just think it's, we all just have to just take a step back. Yeah. We all got to take a step back because, you know, we don't know what did it. We don't know why. But
if it makes a difference.
You know, and it doesn't make a difference because it's not going to bring anybody back. Yeah. You know what I mean? The bottom line is, it doesn't matter.
She's gone.
She's gone. They're gone. There's a wonderfully interesting young woman in the hospital. And it's, you know, we all got to look in the mirror. I'm looking in my mirror, you know.
No, I don't feel that way. No, I think it's a terrible tragedy. But I don't think we all have to look in the mirror and blame ourselves.
No, I think
that if indeed it makes a difference in the rhetoric, if in general it tones down something, I think that's important. But I don't think that each of us has to say that we are responsible for this.
I agree with you too, Barbara.
But it's still important that I think, you know, we let these politicians get away with the rhetoric that they're putting out there.
Are you directly linking this to this man? There's been no evidence.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying still, with the words that everybody's putting out, not just Sarah Palin, everybody, we still need to look at the power of our words.
I think we should be cautious, though, because...
Let's be careful.
Be cautious, obviously, do the right thing, say the right thing. This is what we teach our kids every single day. But I also think it's unfortunate that we can give an alibi or an excuse to someone who's mad, goes in and takes the lives of people who are innocent, just trying to take part in the system, and give the alibi of the devil made me do it. It's not okay to do that either. There's no excuse. There's no one to blame besides the person behind the gun.
Yes, but here's an interesting thing. When I was growing up, people talking and saying things, whipping folks up, caused a lot of people to get lynched. Now, had those people not done all that, would it have happened anyway? It may have, I don't know. But I do know that sometimes we, as a society, have to sort of be aware of what we are doing. And we do have to look and say, yes, on occasion, it may be because the cost, the cost to us is, we get in trouble on TV, but the cost to other people sometimes may be of what we see.
We agree. We all are saying, let's take another look, let's tone down the rhetoric in the media,
Yes.
let's hope that the Republicans and Democrats get together. Fine. But that, we do not know in this case, if it had anything to do with the media, if it had anything to do with politics.
It's hard. Just like you say, they're going to get their 15. Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Right.
Much lighter. Look at how light we got. Look at that. Look, my breasts are rising. We want to congratulate Auburn.
Yeah.
The Auburn Tigers who capped off a perfect season by defeating the Oregon Ducks last night. Okay?
Yes.
One of the great things about this show is we can go anywhere.
Yes, we can.
Now,
Yes, we
Elizabeth,
can. Yes.
what's fantastic that you want to talk
also,
about?
on a lighter note, I just want to let everybody know that today, my New York Times bestseller, The G-Free Diet, is out in paperback. And it's also the debut of something I've been working on for a long time. My No-G bars, they're gluten-free, they're high protein, they're all natural. Both you can find on Amazon, Smoothie
No-G
King.
bars?
Our website has more info, No-G, as in no gluten. So I'm
where can we find
really
them? I'm
excited
sorry.
about these. Amazon, Smoothie King, even more information on our website or gfreediet.com.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
And they're really good.
I gotta tell everybody here, you're going home with a copy of the book and a box of the bars.
And just before we go, she made them for women, she's made them for men, they come from men for women, and she's almost done with the one for kids.
Yes.
And
Why do they have
it's
to be
amazing.
different for men and women?
Well,
They have
different
different needs, nutritional
different protein
needs.
different.
We'll show
They
you,
gotta keep
we'll
that
show you the
libido
picture
up.
book.
Yes.
We'll be right back with more hot topics.
Men and women to share.
We'll be right back. You just got engaged. This might be interesting for you. A Michigan man started secretly reading his wife's emails after he found out that she was having an affair. And now he faces up to about 5 years in prison on charges that he accessed her computer to, quote, acquire her, alter, damage, delete, or destroy her property. That is to say, he may go to jail.
He may be up on charges.
He may be up on charges
What
for
if he
checking.
read her diary? I mean, is that the same?
I don't
Kind of
Don't
the
keep diaries.
Well, like Facebook
That's why
is kind of a
that's why
diary.
you got your Facebook account. It's
Well,
like,
people do. What if he read?
But if there's an acquittal, this is going to be bad because jails will be full of girlfriends, husbands, cousins, of people who go through this. They cannot.
It's ridiculous.
Apparently,
They cannot charge this
he
man.
claims that he had every right to get in there because he was concerned that the wife's lover might be abusive in some
To their
way.
kid,
So he
right.
was saying that that's the reason why
And
he
he's
was
saying the
looking at that.
computer, he bought it. It was in his house. He says her passwords were lying around, which I don't know. 'Cause who leaves a password just laying around?
Unless you want to get...
Not
but
somebody who's having an affair.
Whether it's
Right.
digital or whether it's with a quill and with ink.
what?
A quill.
A quill. I said whatever it is. I'll take it again.
I know.
Whether it is digital or whether it is with a quill with ink, the old rules apply. 1, do not write anything down. 2, do not cheat. However, it is easier,
right, 2
and 3.
easier just to not write it down.
Well, and the third thing is if you don't want to know, don't go looking.
But most people
But
that
see,
do want to.
but see, I don't.
That do want
sorry. I understand that, you know, y'all feel that being married means that they should have access to everything in your life. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. There are some things that I want to keep to myself. And if you don't trust me, you know what I'm saying? If you don't trust me, then you want to go through my stuff. But if you do trust me, then there's no reason for me to have to tell you. Well, no, because she would fool him around.
Right. But the big question is, should that be against the law? And even though you say nobody keeps a diary or a love letter, okay, somebody keeps. Suppose you read a letter addressed to your fiance, and it's addressed to him, and you read it. Should you have to go to jail? Why is that different than reading a computer?
Because I would get life in prison, you know,
just a letter. Sorry, I shouldn't these days be saying that. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right, you're actually
Personal
right.
property.
It's crazy.
Why is it different?
I don't know.
It's not.
But we'll talk about it again. But now...
Yes.
A word?
Yes?
I want me to do it? A word from our sponsor.
That's right. Many of us ring in the new year making resolutions to live happier and healthy lifestyle. And did you know one way that you can achieve that is by simply drinking one more glass of milk a day? Most Americans are not getting the key nutrients we need. In fact, since 6 out of 10 aren't getting enough calcium or vitamin D and 9 out of 10 aren't getting enough potassium, we felt it was important to bring you the latest facts about milk. And here to tell us more about it is our in-house professor, Bill Getty.
Thanks, Elizabeth. My good friends behind the Got Milk campaign have shown how milk can help fill the gap by providing nine important nutrients in each glass, including vitamin D, potassium, protein, calcium. And you can add more nutrients to your diet by pouring one more serving each day.
Thank you, Professor Bill Getty. And by the way, viewers at home can log on to our website to learn how they can win free milk for a year and also help a family in need too. And so you can pour just one more glass of milk to build a strong family. Members of our studio audience are going home with a year's worth of free milk.
When we come back, you know, you just scaring me. When we come back, former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty joins the red, white, and blue. Did she just pat my behind?
John McCain was making his run for the White House in 2007. Republican governor then of Minnesota, Tim Pawlenty, was on his short list for vice president. It might have changed his whole life until McCain decided on Sarah Palin. But now, many people feel that Governor Pawlenty would be the perfect choice for the Republicans. And we're going to find out why. Please welcome the former governor of Minnesota, Tim Pawlenty, who has a new book called Courage to Stand. Okay, you've got courage to come on with us. Thank you. A lot of people feel this way about you because you're a very calm man. People even say you're too nice. Well, that should be the worst thing they say about your governor. But let's talk about what happened. Do you feel this is just a crazy person, or do you feel that politics, to some degree, and the media has to be blamed?
Well, one of the things I talk about in the book is how do you respond to crisis, and one of the first steps is make sure, Barbara, you got good information and you make good decisions based on good information. As we sit here on The View today, there is no evidence that this deranged individual acted because of some particular set of comments or experience with the media or politician. That being said, our country, all of us, each of us, individually and collectively, can benefit from a more thoughtful and civil debate.
Sure, absolutely.
Do you think that Sarah Palin, because of the ad that she took or because of some things that she has talked about, do you think she deserves to herself be a target of this antagonism?
As to Governor Palin?
Yes.
You know, I think she's a remarkable leader. I think she served her state well, and she's an important voice for my party. But there's no evidence to indicate that she or anyone else was the cause of this. We have a mentally unstable, deranged individual. We know that sometimes they do senseless and irrational things. And to condemn or to judge based on that facts as we know them today is unfair.
Do you think, given that the perception out there based on the Crosshairs format that she put out, do you think that her political career might be over?
No, I don't. And again, you can debate tactics and style and all of that, but again, there's no evidence to suggest she or anyone else is at fault other than you have somebody who had these mental health challenges.
Speaking of political career, though you haven't decided yet on 2012 running for the presidency, if you were to decide potential
Which you will.
Potential running mate, who would be ideal for you, do you think? Name
Whoopi.
Republican?
She's got a purple
well,
brain.
it would be the first time, not the first time, but where we've had people of different, I don't know what your political party is. I'm not sure that it's the same as his, but, you know, possible.
You know, I'm an American. I'm all about fixing America. So
That's why I love you so much. But Governor, you are going to run. That's why you've written this book. That's why you're on television programs. You know, these are the days of being very honest. So
yeah,
you are going to
I'm
run,
not trying to be cute about it. I'm seriously considering it, Barbara. I
What
told
would
people I'm
make
going to
you
decide and
decide?
announce in the next few months. Two things. One is, what does the country need, and do I bring something to the table in that discussion? I think I do in the book and otherwise. I've got a record as a Republican in a Democrat state dealing with spending and public pensions and entitlement reform and health care reform and much else. And then secondly, I got a family. I got a wife. I got 2 children. And one big factor for me is, you know, if I do this, how much of a burden is it going to put on them?
Where are you going to get the money?
From you.
No, I'm afraid not. I'm serious.
You got enough of
no,
it, Barbara.
I'm serious. You know, when
Spread
Mike
it around a
Huckabee
little
was
bit.
on with us, he said that he was thinking of running, but it costs so much money.
What's your strategy?
It does, you know, and I tell people, look, it helps if you're going to run for president to be a billionaire, to be famous, or to have some novelty. I don't have any of that, but I got a great record. I think I've got a good heart. I think I understand what the country needs, and I think I can help.
What about the people that say you're too nice? Because it does float out there some, and you're up against some big names like Giuliani, potentially, maybe Palin, who knows? Mitt Romney is the name that gets thrown out there.
People shouldn't confuse being nice or thoughtful or civil with being strong. Let me give you an example. Ronald Reagan. You can agree or disagree with him. I thought he was one of the best presidents in the history of the country.
I'm with you on that.
But what were the lessons of Reagan? He had strong views, but he presented himself in a civil, thoughtful, decent, kind manner. There were almost no instances where Ronald Reagan yelled, screamed, judged, condemned. There was that one time in New Hampshire where he said, I paid for that microphone. But he was strong. Nobody confused being nice with strong. And if you look at my record, there's no absence of strength there.
Governor Pawlenty, you said that if you were to become president, you would want even more tax cuts. Why do you say that?
Well, if you look, Cherie, at our country, I think one of the things that job providers tell you is the burdens are pretty heavy compared to the rest of the world, and we got to be more competitive. I would start by saying, just don't make it worse. And this compromise of a week or two ago between the Republicans and the Democrats, they said we'll start by saying we won't let them go up. I think that was a good starting point. But over time, you know, it's not right versus left. It's just put it up on the wall and see how our burdens from the business and jobs compare to other places, and we're high.
do you think it would be a smart idea for us to stop rewarding companies that send our jobs overseas?
Well, we got a lot of issues there. I'm for free trade, but I'm not for being a chump, Whoopi. And we have outsourced lots of our country, lots of our economy, lots of our jobs to places that don't play by the rules. So I'm happy to have America compete and compete vigorously, but I don't want to compete against people who cheat. And so they need to be called out, and either they need to treat us fairly, or we need to dial up the heat on them.
What about the American companies that have sent the jobs out? Do you think that we need to be stronger with American companies that say put the bottom line over the American economy, basically?
We need to encourage and incentivize our companies to grow and do business here. But let's also be clear on this. If you're a company like 3M and 5 million people in Minnesota, the state that I love, you know, they can't make a future just selling to Minnesota or to the United States. They have to market to the world.
Yeah, but they don't have to take the jobs out.
That's
though.
right. But
That's
let me give you a good example. If you want to do business in China, for a lot of companies, China says, oh, you want to do business here? You put a plant here. You want to access our economy? you hire our people. You want to access our market, you give us your technology. We don't do that to them.
No, well, that's the point. Yeah. That's what I was saying.
Nothing is quite as simple these days as, you know, you can't be quite as black and white as what we know. But I want to just ask you one question, because your life would have been so different, or your running would have been so different if you were the vice presidential candidate. Did John McCain ever tell you why? Was it just that he needed a woman? Why he didn't choose you?
Well, I had some thoughts about that, Barbara. The morning I knew I wasn't going to get picked, I took my little Yorkie Bichon out for a walk, and she did her business, and I picked it up with a plastic bag, and I thought to myself, you know, that's the only number 2 I'm going to be getting this week.
Why didn't you get it? I've heard you say that, and it's wonderful and it's funny.
No,
but the bottom line is, why didn't you get it?
Well, when I talked to Senator McCain, and I can't remember his exact words, but it was something like, you know, we've got to try something different. I think he knew with the economy collapsing, there was going to have to take a little different approach. And I think it was a bold pick. You know, it wasn't a traditional pick, and it was a bold pick in a lot of ways.
Do you think he regrets it?
I don't think, regardless of who Senator McCain picked, he was going to not win that election once the economy collapsed, and it wasn't Sarah Palin's fault. And I say, and I continue to say, very positive things about her.
You're a very positive person, and it's our pleasure to have you on the program.
You're nice. Thank you.
And to have and with your running mate.
All right.
You know. So
Let's do it, baby.
If you want to know more about the governor, and by the way, he has a very interesting personal story. Your whole background, your family, and so forth. You were not born to riches, and so it's a very interesting story. The book is called Courage to Stand. Members of our audience are all going home with a copy. And when we come back, the great actor Paul Giamatti is going to be with us. Governor, thank you.
One of my favorite actors, Paul Giamatti, just got a well-deserved Golden Globe nomination for his role in Barney's Version. As a guy who finds out love doesn't always come on schedule. Well, take a look.
I'm bent over backwards in love with you, Miriam. I'm the heels over head completely.
Don't be ridiculous. We just met at your wedding. It's not funny. Barney, get off the train.
I cannot believe that this really happens. It really happens. Just like that.
IDs, tickets.
It's amazing. No? And I don't care if it happened on my wedding night, at a funeral, on my deathbed. It happened.
Please welcome the fabulous Paul Giamatti.
Thank you very much. How are you? Nice to see you. I sit here?
Yes. This movie is based on a novel, and I know you're a big reader. Did you know the book before you made the movie? Had you
No,
ever
I
heard?
read the script first, and then I looked at the book, and it was so different.
Right.
I got scared, and I thought, I don't want to read too much of the book because
Right.
I'll get too caught up in what's different. So
Right.
I shoved it aside. I didn't read it till I'd finished shooting the movie.
Wow.
It's a love story.
It is.
It's a great
It's
love
an
story.
odd love story.
It's an odd love story. He's an odd guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I chase her down. I'm drunk. I chase her down a train.
You married?
I'm married. I just got married.
Complicated hero.
Because he's sincere about it. He actually loves her. He's not just chasing her down to he's chasing her down because he loves her. And he does. He falls in love with her. He'd also like to
We
a
have
lot
to-
in this movie.
We have to congratulate you. We love you
Yes.
so much. This is your 4th Golden Globe nomination.
Wow.
Congratulations.
didn't
And
even know that.
I want to get it right. The first nomination was for your role in Sideways. Then it was for Cinderella Man.
Yes.
And in 2009, there we go. In 2009, you won for the HBO miniseries John Adams. Yes. So just like you, and I said this backstage, just when I watch you and go, how are you going to top, your last performance. You do it again.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, this fourth nomination, how you feeling?
Oh, it's great. It's always nice, you know. I don't know what the hell I'm doing right. I don't know what the hell. I don't know. But I'll take it. It's very, very nice. It's very nice. No, it's always really flattering, you know. Absolutely.
I want to ask you something that I started to ask you when we were backstage. We so often talk to actors, you know, who had to struggle and you know, got their first job in the telephone booth when the agent comes up. You are the son of the president, a man who was the president of Yale.
Yes.
When you were growing up, your father was a professor of Renaissance history.
Yes, literature and history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that like for a kid?
It's fantastic. I mean, it's a great way to grow up, you know?
This enormously intellectual family.
It's a
Are
big
you
intellectual-
an enormously intellectual person?
Take a look at me, right here, where I'm sitting here. Take a look at me. I mean, not terribly. I mean,
He was also commissioner of baseball.
Then he was
That's
commissioner of
fun.
baseball. Yeah, no, he had a crazy career. I mean, he had three, thank you. He had three kind of incredibly distinct careers, you know. He was a brilliant guy, but he was a very down-to-earth guy, so it didn't feel unusual to me.
So he didn't mind that his son was not going to become an academic, that he was going to be an actor?
Yeah, no, not at all. My brother's an actor, too, and my sister was a ballet dancer, and so, you know, it was a very artsy family, artsy-fartsy family. I mean, it really was.
You do have a way with words.
Artsy-fartsy, thank you. See? Intellectual, see?
I love the fact, too, that in the film, Dustin Hoffman plays your dad.
Yeah.
And you said that he was totally unguarded and told really great dirty jokes. Would you like to share any of those?
I don't think
with
I
us
can
today?
share fart jokes. Fart jokes.
Okay.
I just want to say fart again.
Your father would be so proud.
He would be so
yes.
proud.
Yes.
He would be so proud. I don't think I could actually tell any of the jokes he told.
Yeah.
But he did have a machine that made flatulent sounds. There's a scene when I find him dead, and he's supposed to be dead. Yeah, you think that's funny.
I do.
Whoopee.
Because it was a whoopee cushion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
he had
I
a
know.
whoopee cushion that he kept
Well,
squeezing.
you think he got it?
There you go.
So he's supposed to be dead,
I'm
and you...
supposed to be all serious and crying, and
yeah.
he's supposed to be dead, and it's just every couple of seconds. Funny guy. But it was nice because it cut the tension, actually, which is why he was doing it. And it actually relaxed me, actually.
And it worked. But interestingly enough, his son plays your son.
Yes.
In the film. So did he give you any like parenting advice? And was that weird at all at times?
It was odd, actually, mostly because the kid looks exactly like him and nothing like me. It's ridiculous. All the genes just completely skip a generation, and they look exactly alike. It's amazing, which is kind of bizarre.
Well, and not if you're supposed to be his kid. You should look like the parent, but if, you know, because what would the wife say? No, he doesn't look like you. He's black.
Right, exactly. So there's a through line, which is which is nice. Absolutely.
Please come back and hang with us again at some point.
Thank you
know,
very
our
much.
thanks to Paul Giamatti. Barney's version is in select theaters Friday. Go see it. It's actually really good. We'll be back with the star Elizabeth Mitchell.
Actress Elizabeth Mitchell stars in two of her all-time favorite shows, First Loss, and now V is an FBI agent dealing with a much different illegal alien problem. Take a look. Please welcome Elizabeth Mitchell. No joke. We want to talk to you. Elizabeth, oh, you are no joke, Elizabeth Mitchell. Okay, before we even talk V, we haven't seen you since Lost. Okay, now some people love the ending, some people hated it, some people didn't understand it.
Yes.
I mean, what did you think of the ending?
I loved it, which I know is somewhat of an unpopular opinion, but only because they kept it magic. Everything was kind of as unique and amazing as it should be, with no kind of pat answers. I like that.
Well, you were Juliet, and you died. You died in the first episode of the last season because you were detonating this bomb that it took you out, but it saved everybody else.
That was the hope, yeah.
That was the thing. But then you appeared in like several like flashback kind of episodes.
That was fun.
So when because we kept asking everybody who came on, you know, who's going to get killed off? How did you feel when you found out that you were gone?
Oh, I was devastated because it happened so fast. It was like we got the scripts and I had no idea, and they called and they said I was dropping my little boy off at the airport, so I was like, okay, and I got on the phone, I was like, hey, and they're like, yeah, we feel like the story's come to an end, and I was like, okay. My sister, though, was there, which was good. And I called some girlfriends, and we talked about it. And after about 3 days, I felt all right.
Elizabeth, you play in some creepy television shows.
I do.
And in this one, you are an FBI agent in V against the aliens. I mean, we saw a little bit of it. And in the second...
Well, mainly we saw me getting my rear end kicked.
But you, we heard that you said to the producers, do not treat me like a woman.
I wanted to...
Do not treat my character like a woman.
Yeah, that's true. I think I always wanted to be kind of a Han Solo, you know, like I wanted to... And I feel like sometimes if you put a gender restriction on there, there's a certain... There's a difference. There's a difference to the way people write. And I would prefer to just kind of think of it as genderless, and I'll just bring the woman. I'm obviously a woman, so it works out all right.
And you do your own stunts, and you do your own killings, and your own flowers. Charming little things you're noted for.
Well, it's great because you've evolved. I mean, when we saw you, you know, I'm lost girl. I love my Lost. I love my V. But your character, you as an actor, you have become what could possibly be the new female ideal for the movies, for those movies that we always see guys do, because you take it and you put it out there. And they evolved you from Lost into now this kick-butt woman. I think it's terrific because you take no guff, and that alien knows what's coming. She knows.
Because, I mean, we got off to this incredible start, and then you went on hiatus for a couple of months, and so ratings dipped a little bit. I know that had to be frustrating because it's got a huge following.
It is frustrating. I mean, I think any time that it's hard to find the show that you're watching, it's always frustrating. But you know, it's just it's fun for me. The whole thing is just fun for me.
It's fun for everybody.
So yes, it is frustrating, but at the same time, it's always nice that some people did find us. You feel like they searched, you know, and they were dedicated.
Now
so
now it's back.
And now, in between, you're also taking a little time right now. I know CJ, right? Who's 5?
He's 5.
And you said you told him now you're going to just do absolutely nothing. So what does that mean in your house?
I'm a Jedi. Yeah, and I have a sword, a lightsaber, actually, and I'm a master, a Jedi master. Because if you're playing with a 5-year-old, you should really be the very best thing.
Yeah, you have to.
They will take you out.
Yeah, they will. And you should also, you know, you get to be whatever you want, really. Yeah. So that's what we do. We go outside and we play outside with our little lit-up lightsabers. It's really fun.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming by. We want to thank Elizabeth Mitchell. V airs tonight at 9 p.m. right here on ABC. We're going to be right back.
You know, The Social Network just came out on Blu-ray and DVD, and members of the audience are going home with a copy. And I'm going to be performing in Florida this week on Friday the 14th. I'll be at the Travis Center for the performance.